Hello, Madristas and fans of the Let's Be Real podcast. Welcome to another preview episode. This week, time around, we're going to be previewing match day 4 with our trip, to San Sebastian against Real Sociedad. And it's been quite an international break. Actually, I didn't follow any of the games. Actually, I've been quite busy. It was a break from football as a whole, basically. And today I have Kanish with me. You see Kanish is smiling, so I'm assuming he enjoyed the international break. Kanish, how have you been, man? How was the international break?
Hey, guys, how you guys doing? Pretty relaxing, honestly, to be very frank with you. But I think the football didn't stop. It was one game after another, and I think there were some cracking matches during the international break, especially the match was between Italy and Israel. I think I didn't expect it to go where it went. I think some of our Madrid players, honestly, were in good form over the break, and especially I think Tchouaméni and Mbappe, they were really. The Chouameni got a red card, I feel, in his second match, but I think they were really pivotal in the win. I think so was Arda Güler, and I think that little battle between him and Lamine Yamal in the Spain and Turkey game was, I think, something like a preview for the upcoming El Clasico. I think overall it was a decent international break. I was happy my country did very well in the international break. India did manage to win a bronze medal in one of the competitions. So I think on that note, it was nice, but I think it was good to be a bit away from football for a while.
Yeah. So speaking of international breaks, we already have a casualty. Antonio Rudiger is, reported to be out for a while. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like it feels like it's just unnecessary, and I think there's always been an element to Rudiger actually when you look at the way he's been for the past couple of weeks, and even Germany as well. You feel like there is something that wasn't quite right with him, and here we are, with the injury.
I think because we had such a fabulous start to the season, I feel something like this was bound to happen. It's the law of averages. It does catch up. You cannot like always, and with Real Madrid, man, we always have injuries, even in a season which we've started honestly really well. But yeah, I think Germany was not at their best. I don't think they're missing key. They're missing players in key form. I think Florian Wirtz is not firing from midfield. I think defensively they're a mess. So I think I still feel they need Tony Cruz. And that says a lot about someone who's retired a year and a half ago. That there is still a need for a Tony Cruz type of a player in the German national team. I think,
I
yeah, I
mean,
hope
not
to see
just the
them in the
German
World Cup
national
though.
team. Everyone needs Tony Cruz. Even Real Madrid is still
Everyone
lacking
needs
a
Tony
Tony
Cruz,
Cruz,
yeah.
right?
Everyone needs
So
Tony Cruz. Fair enough.
yeah, but anyways, it's back to business again. Like we've had the international break, we've had our casualty of the season. Our first serious casualty of the season. Of course, we have
Yeah.
players who are still coming back from injury. The Bellinghams, the Camavingas, and so on and so forth. The Ferland Mendes, but that's something that we came
And
into the
it's
season with.
very strange that this injury has come during training and not during a match. That's what I find a bit strange, to be very honest,
I
because
mean,
you
I
don't
do think the point
hear
is like
stuff like that.
I don't know, like, okay, they say the studies have showed that it's not like, like this injuries, this playing a lot of matches lead to like, these injuries and stuff like that. But I just feel like it's just common sense that when these guys keep playing and keep playing and keep playing, like there is bound to be a problem somewhere. And again, let's not
Yeah,
forget, like Tony Rudiger was injured, came back at the Club World Cup. Now he's injured again, right? So it's
yeah,
not like, so it's also about like it's the issue of like, are you actually rushing these guys back too quick? Like, was he actually fully fit? Which is why I actually
yeah.
started with talking about the fact that it seemed like something wasn't right at certain points with Tony Rudiger, but it is what it is. Like we can cry over spilled
And
milk.
I feel at least defensively we have that position covered now. I feel we have Horizon, we have Militao, we have Alaba. If he can step in for a few games, we have Raul Asensio. So I think it's not a problem like last season that we didn't have enough players. Now I think
I mean,
squad
that's how
depth
it
wise we're
starts, right?
still pretty
That's
decent.
how it starts, right? So the point now becomes like you get to a point whereby like you're a suspension away from going into a defensive crisis, and then you have to start playing Chouameni
Yeah,
as a center back again. So
yeah,
I don't know how much that says about like because if I remember correctly, like the club was actually planning to get two center backs, because the point is like we have Militao, yes, but Militao is coming off of two ACLs. David Alaba seems to be a shadow of the player that he was. And then the other option is Raul Asensio. You understand? He's an up and coming player, but we don't really know what kind of player he's going to morph into as well, you know? So right now, let's say the only trusted element we have in defense is Dean Huyson, you know? So how, you know, like you do with that with you do with that information what you will, but it's not the best looking if you ask me. But yeah, let's see. You know, like the point is like let's hope that Militao can maintain the fitness, get consistency. Let's hope that David Alaba also can at least, as you said, for at least for a couple of games here and there, like gain that form that he had in the past because the class is there, just like the form is what really matters. But yeah, we're back in business and the games are coming thick and fast. It's Sociedad now, it's Marseille in the midweek. So the games are coming. You're back to La Liga, back to Champions League. Games are coming thick and fast. You have the international break again. In October you have another one again in November. So let's not forget about the situation of the expanded Champions League. So honestly, bodies are gonna. I mean, even if bodies don't fall, so what's it called? Suspensions are gonna accumulate. That's just the truth of the fact. But let's get back to the business of the weekend, which is the game against Real Sociedad. We've played 3 games this season. I think we scored 9 goals and we conceded 1, if I'm not wrong, across 3 games with 2 clean sheets. I personally think we haven't been convincing in either of these games. The we won games, but we haven't been convincing in either of these games. So, would you consider Sociedad to be the first real test of the season?
Definitely. And Sociedad, see, playing away at Anoeta is never easy. It's always a very hostile atmosphere when you go there. They like to give away teams a very, very difficult time. And, I've seen it, the fans. Did you lose me there for a bit?
Yeah, I lost you for a second.
Apologies. So, what I was just saying that, a trip to Anoeta is never easy. It's always pretty difficult. The fans are pretty hostile. They back the team. They love doing the Poznan, and it's pretty intimidating when you think about it. But having said that, Real Sociedad are winless so far in La Liga. 1 draw and 2 draws and 1 loss. They lost to Real Oviedo 1-0 in the last match before the international break. They've conceded 4 goals. They've scored only 3 goals in a match. I think it's a team under transition. They've had some good signings over the summer. Gonzalo Guedes, Carlos Soler from PSG. So they have that attacking talent in their team, definitely. But, I think right now they are definitely not at their best, to be very honest. So I don't think it is going to be like a very difficult challenge for us. Yes, travel-wise, it's difficult. Atmosphere-wise, it's always difficult. But I think as a team, Sociedad, I think it's a very good time to play Real Sociedad. I would take this game right now over this game happening towards the end of the season. I'm very happy to play this fixture right now. I think it should be comfortable for Madrid. And even though we've not been convincing, but I'm repeating myself, we would have taken this result if someone would have offered this at the start of the season. If you want 3 wins out of 3 going into the international break. And luckily, apart from Rudiger, there's been no casualties over the international break. And players have looked in good form. Even Alaba, for that matter. I did watch one of the Austria games. He was decent. It's not like he's forgotten how to play football. He just needs to build himself back to form. It will be interesting to see how Xabi Alonso, kind of uses that, because he was anyway not starting Rudiger. But that's there for me to see if he's going to play Chouameni at the back, if he's going to switch things up a bit. So I think not a very difficult challenge. Should come through with a win, and not because, with all due respect, Sociedad is a fantastic team. On their day, they can beat us, and they have shown that in the past. But I think right now they're a team under transition, so it's not going to be as difficult as it usually is when you travel to Real Sociedad.
I agree with you, actually. I actually agree with a lot of sentiments. I know a lot of people talk about the fact that the trip to the San Sebastian is a very daunting one and a very difficult one. But I feel like since I started watching Real Madrid, the San Sebastian has always been a boogie place for Barcelona, but not for Real Madrid. That's just one thing I know. So I personally I feel like the other side of of the rivalry that they have there is what I consider a more hostile place, with Atletico Bilbao, actually, like at least from the playing perspective. And I think you laid everything out perfectly. When you consider everything that's happening outside of the four white lines, it's a very difficult trip. But when you consider like what's happening in field with the players that Sociedad have, let's not forget they lost, with stalwart in Martin Zubimendi, they and right now they're winless in three more or less. So like, as you said, like it doesn't look that, daunting as it could be or as it used to be in the past. So I do feel like, this trip, to the San Sebastian should also, not be a walkover per se, but I feel like we shouldn't struggle too much, to display something. And fortunately, we've been like we saw Vinicius Junior wasn't called up, so he's had a lot of time. Militao wasn't called up, he's had a lot of time to rest, recuperate, and gain something. And we hopefully could benefit from that. We hope that being in Tao and the guys who got the rest will be able to like have more match sharpness, more match fitness, you name it, and all that. And I do think this is a game that could give us a bit of momentum going into the October break, because I said like you keep playing midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend, so it kind of gives you a bit of momentum going into that international break, because I think we play Bilbao, we play not Bilbao, we play Sociedad, we play Marseille, I think we play Villarreal at a certain point, we play Atletico Madrid. So like we have games that will spur the players up, will get them motivated, will get them in form, in groove, So I do think like this could be a very important stretch for us to click into gear going towards that international break in October.
No, absolutely agree with you. It's a very tough set of fixtures coming up. We have Sociedad, then we have Marseille. This first Champions League week, it's just come upon us. We just had the draw the other day, it feels like. Then we have Espanyol at home. Espanyol is, okay, like, not say like the toughest challenge. But then we have Levante away. Levante is not an easy place to go. I mean, Barcelona has suffered there way too many times for us to even think of taking it lightly. And just 3 days later, we have Atletico Madrid. So I think the next 4 or 5, and then we make the trip to Almaty in Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I think, a good point that you raised is a lot of players who didn't get call-ups. 2 weeks is a fantastic time to rest, to recuperate, and just take your mind away from football. And the players who did go on national duty, they have performed well for the teams. Guler was performing well for the team. Mbappe, as usual, was performing well for his team. So I think, these players did get a chance to get even more match sharpness and more match fitness. And I feel right now is the time for Xavi to use players like Gonzalo Garcia, Rodrigo a bit more than he would normally do. To just even that out. And I think during the trainings over the international break, he must have gotten a lot of time to think what he's done in the first 3 games and what he will do differently going ahead. So I think overall we're in a good spot. I don't think there's a lot to worry about. As you very rightly said, no matter how tough that place is right now, Real Madrid on paper and in reality is a much better team than Real Sociedad. So it should be a comfortable win. Not easy, but it should be comfortable.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I just even like the way you've been, seg the bit into like the players that we have and the players that we should be utilizing, and these days. So with that, I think maybe we can just divert into the, the Real Madrid lineup. But before we do that, let's just, quickly get some of the comments. We have Ashik says the real battle of La Liga. I think he's referring to Real Madrid playing Real Sociedad, and we have a great news for the team. Endrick is still unavailable, thankfully. Sunil was talking about like big up the panel. He was mentioning like Italy, Israel was a banger. Italy looked almost drunk, and then he was talking about like Rudiger had a shit game against Slovakia. And then Ashik was talking about like tomorrow the ref will call a questionable penalty against us. We'll get a player ejected for possible no reason and drop 2 points thanks to La Liga's high standard of refereeing. And also he was, going on the comment we were talking about, like I've been saying this all along throughout the transfer season that we needed another centre-back signing, but we needed to sell for that. And so we sold nothing and signed nothing. We had the biggest clown show. And
strong comments there.
Yeah, Sunil was saying Sociedad have looked super suspect defensively whenever I tuned in to watch them this season. And Sheik was responding to that Sociedad can look however they want, but we play Genia What the referees? Well, we play against the referees and the team in front of us in La Liga. And it all started with changes that were implemented in 2004 by Angel Maria Villar. Well, that's there. Like, what do you have to say about, I heard you talk about, its harsh comments when Ashik was talking about the fact that the club chose not to sign another centre back.
Yeah, look, see, something I agree with Ashik there. For the life of me, I've been a Real Madrid fan for about 16 years now. I have not understood our transfer policy. I have just not understood. There'll be seasons where we just go all out. Like 2009, 2018 was a great transfer season. This year was great. But Madrid's not known to be a club that sells. You know, we're not a club that sells player. I mean, what was the last player, like last good player who performed for us and we sold? I think it was Cristiano Ronaldo, and we sold him to Juventus for 100 million and made a profit on his signing. I mean, please correct me, anyone in the comments, but like we're not known to sell players like that. I think Asensio we could have sold over the summer. It's okay. I mean, he could have come back to Madrid at any point. Uh, I think we believe in loaning more than selling. It's something that I don't honestly wrap my head around. But I feel, yeah, I totally agree with that point. We did need a centre back. I think if the Ibrahim Konate transfer would have gotten through, one of these players would have definitely seen the back door. Could have been Rudiger, could have been Asensio, because I think we are really going for Ibrahim Konate. Definitely. I don't know if they'll try for them in the January transfer, but definitely next summer, I think he's going to be a Real Madrid player. But yeah, having said that, definitely we do need a bit of centre back depth. But I think this is the right time. I mean, you cannot do anything about it right now. So I think this is the right time to put your trust in the likes of the Alabas and the Asensios and see what they do. I mean, you'll have your answer for sure. But I don't think Real Sociedad is going to be that difficult for us as a challenge right now. I have watched them against Oviedo. They were not the Real Sociedad that we know them to be. So I think, yeah, let's see. I think referees and all, look, we know it's horrible standard of refereeing in La Liga. I mean, it'll be just be stating the obvious. I do not agree with a lot of decisions, and I just don't understand it. And I do feel I have a decent understanding of the game of football, but like it's very schoolboy refereeing. I just don't get it. But yeah, I mean, you can't do anything about it. We still have to win, and I think win is what we mostly always do.
Yeah, win is mostly what we always do. But yeah, I mean, to like counter your point about the transfers, man, I think we've had some decent transfers. I remember like Mr. Ozil, Angel Di Maria, so I think we've had some decent transfers. Well, I get what you were saying, like like moving on Deadwood has been a problem, and I think it's a problem, honestly, for a lot of
Yeah,
teams, unless you're Chelsea
Ozil
for
and
some
Di
instance.
Maria were like more than 10 years back now, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
Yeah.
it's been a long time since we've made decent net transfers.
Well, I mean, you can look at Casemiro and also like I mean Rafael Varane to some extent as well. Well, yeah, I mean, I do get where the points to the place you're coming from, honestly. And I'm thinking right now, like, there's not going to be any takers for Raul Asensio or for David Alaba. Like, I mean, that's just a thing. And definitely, you're not moving on Rudiger or Militao. So, yeah, I get what you're saying.
If they would have tried to sell Asensio before the Club World Cup, there would have been a lot of takers. He had a
Yes,
horror
yes.
show during the Club World Cup, and I think that just significantly dropped his market value.
But I think again, like, not just that. I think there is the issue of the whole legal battle that's already surrounding uh,
Yeah,
Asensio as well, and I do think like that will deter, and also that also will impact the value that he has on the market. But I do think like I agree with you. Like if you take away the legal stuff, if you take away the display at the Club World Cup, I do think like Asensio definitely would have had takers, honestly.
definitely.
But again, like it is what it is. Like I mean, we can't carry our skill to the whole issue with Ibrahim Konate. That's a whole different discussion. But I will just see here on record that I'm not a fan of the signing of like Ibrahim Konate. It's not because he's a bad player. No, he's a good player. But again, availability is the best ability, right? Like Ibrahim Konate is made of glass, unfortunately. So
Yeah, it's either him or Mark Guehi. He could have been a good signing.
I mean, I don't know actually, because like right now the player that even Liverpool are looking to replace, Ibrahim Konate is the player that I think Real Madrid should be looking at. I think he's 24, 25. McGee is an England international. He's shown that he can play at the highest level at the Euros. He was phenomenal. So I don't know. I feel like, those are things that we also have to take into consideration. But then you don't know, maybe he comes to Spain and all of a sudden, he's able to put these injuries woes behind him. But like Ibrahim Konate is absolutely rid of glass, and I'm not too sure how I feel about having options that like that you can just get. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like that's something that we'll have to see. But I do think also like Konate might actually end up staying at Liverpool because like Liverpool will not want to lose two players back to back to Real Madrid on a free transfer. That's going to be quite insane.
Yeah. I do agree with that. It does not reflect nicely on the club.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, Brian, so let's slowly get into the lineups. I mean, we know one thing is set in stone. We don't have any issues with the goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois, no doubt about that.
I mean, it's pretty much, I feel, gonna be Hoyes and Militao at the back, Trent and Carreras on the flaps.
But then
Ah,
I would say this, like I will also lean Trent because of what we talked about earlier. Trent had a 2-week break, which Carvajal had to go with Spain. So I do think that ages Trent ahead.
That kind of edges. That was my reasoning too, because he's got a good 2 weeks rest. It was a blessing in disguise. He was not called for the England national team, and I think they will play Tchouaméni because I don't think how we replace Tchouaméni in this game. You don't have any other player available to take his position because I feel if any player needs rest, it's Mbappe and Tchouaméni because they've had a very hectic international break and they've played all the 3 matches. Then Valverde, Vini definitely starts. Mbappe starts. Guler or Diaz, or if he maybe wants to give Mbappe some rest, but I don't think Real Sociedad is the match to rest him.
But why aren't you playing Tchouaméni? Is there a problem with that?
Sorry?
Why aren't you selecting Tchouaméni?
I'm selecting Tchouaméni. I'm saying just in case if you wanted to give him rest.
Okay. All right.
Hectic,
I thought you were saying like he's gonna play as a center back. So that was what I was actually.
No. I think Militao doesn't start. The Militao is fresh.
Okay, Militao. So we have a back four then: Carreras, Militao, Hoysen, and Trent. All right.
And Trent. Yeah. And then Tchouaméni, Valverde, and Guler in midfield. Vinicius, Mbappe, and probably Brahim Diaz or Mascherano because Mascherano was really good in the Argentina games. He was really good. I did see the Leo Messi farewell game against Venezuela, if I'm not wrong. There were some beautiful passes there. I think he's enjoying his football right now. Could be useful against Sociedad. So I think he could start over Brahim Diaz. Or maybe Rodrigo even because he's had good rest for two weeks.
No, I think didn't Rodrigo go with Brazil?
I didn't follow any of the Brazil games. I'm sorry.
I think Brazil. Yeah, Rodrigo went with Brazil.
Okay, Rodrigo. Then maybe not start Rodrigo and play Mascherano.
Yeah, that could be. Would be interesting actually. Like I can't see any other option as well. I agree with you. Like I just think we're gonna see just an unchanged lineup more or less from the last game against Real Oviedo, and I think that's just how we're gonna flow with that and then see what happens. I just hope Vini can continue to slowly get into the groove, bit by bit, and I think this rest should do him good as well. With that, actually, we can already. I see Ashik is there already. He says we need another center back. We need a deep line playmaker and a central midfielder, sort of a QB kind of player, a la Toni Kroos, more or less. Just to go back to you, Ashik. And sorry, Kanishk, you're the one who was mentioning this. And Random Guy 101 was saying Hala Madrid. Ashik was pointing to the fact that even Manchester United was able to dump the great Andre Onana. Interesting. And Random Guy actually just puts a full stop there and says Sociedad is in bad form. Madrid 2, Sociedad 0, 3 points. So what do you think?
I will go for a 3-0 Real Madrid win.
3-0. Oh, okay, that's fair. Actually, I'm going to lean towards the score from Random Guy, a 2-0 Real Madrid victory, because I just don't see I know there's Mikel Oyarzabal, there's Takefusa Kubo as well and all that, but I'm just not too sure where the scoring power is going to come from for Sociedad. That's why I'm just leaning towards a 2-0 Real Madrid victory. Nothing too extravagant, nothing too easy as well. So yeah, let's see how that goes. So yeah, with that, I think we come to the end of today's preview. We thank you all in the chat, Sunaid, Ashik, and also Random Guy 11. And also we thank our sponsors, Talksport. We're part of the Talksport family, which is the largest football radio show in the UK. And you can just check us all out in the description. And also just give a like, give a comment, drop a, hit the notification button whenever we set up a new video. We drop a new video, you're just going to be, the first to be notified. We're not going to have the fan camps because it's not a home game, but yeah, hopefully, once we return to the Bernabeu, we're going to get back with the fans camps and get back to you guys. And I guess with that, we sign up by saying Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.